You ever look at a bunch of code and it just feels like you're staring at a secret language? Well, today, we're going to crack that code. We are going to break down what it really means to write your very first program in Python. And I promise you, by the end of this, it's going to feel a whole lot less like magic, and way more like something you can actually do.
All right, so let's just get this out of the way right now. From the outside, programming can totally seem like this incredibly complex skill that's, reserved for math geniuses, but is it really that difficult? The truth is, it's way less about complicated math and a lot more about learning a new way to think and solve problems logically. It is so much more accessible than you might think.
So, first things first, what even is code? Really, the simplest way to think about it is it's a new language, but it's not for talking to people. It's for giving super precise instructions to a computer. And just like any language we speak, it has its own grammar and punctuation that you have to get right for the computer to understand what you're saying.
This analogy is absolutely perfect. I mean, think about it. In English, if your grammar is all over the place, your message just gets lost, right? It is literally the same thing in programming. Those rules, the grammar of the language, are called syntax. And if your syntax is off, the computer just won't get what you're trying to ask it to do. It's not mad at you or anything, it's just confused. Okay, enough talk. The absolute best way to learn any language is to just start speaking it. So right now, we are going to write our very first program. This is a genuine rite of passage for every single person who learns to code. It's that moment you make the computer officially say, "Hello world."
And honestly, it's way easier than you'd think. First, you just create a plain text file and save it as app.py. That .py at the end is super important. It tells the computer, hey, heads up, this is a Python file. Then, inside that file, you just type this one single line. That word print is a built-in command, or a function, in Python. You can think of it like a button on your TV remote. It's a tool that's already there, and its one job is to show something on the screen.
Okay, now we actually have to tell the computer to run this file. To do that, we use a tool called the terminal. Don't worry, it's not as scary as it looks. It's just a way to type commands directly to your computer. You type the command Python, then a space, then the name of our file, app.py, and you hit enter. That command basically tells your computer, go find Python and use it to run the instructions you find in this file.
And boom, there it is. Right there on your screen, you should see the words "Hello World." Just let that sink in for a second. You wrote an instruction and the machine did what you said. That right there is the heart of what programming is. Seriously, congrats. You're officially a programmer now.
So now that we know how to talk to the computer, how do we say more interesting things than just hello? Well, we need to learn some vocabulary. Let's dig into the absolute fundamental building blocks that you will use in pretty much every single program you write from here on out.
First up, and this is probably one of the most important concepts, is the variable. Just think of a variable as a labeled box where you can store a piece of information. So, for example, you could make a box, slap a label on it that says user age, and put the number 30 inside. Now, later on in your code, anytime you need that number, you don't have to remember 30, you just grab the box called user age. Simple as that.
So what kind of stuff can we actually put inside these boxes? Well, data comes in a few basic flavors, or types. A string is just a fancy word for text, like our hello world message. An integer is any whole number. A float is a number that has a decimal point. And a Boolean, well, that's just a simple true or false. These are the core ingredients you'll be cooking with all the time.
Okay, so as you start writing more than just one line of code, you're going to want some better tools to make your life easier. Just like a chef has their favorite knives, programmers have a software setup that helps them work their magic. So let's look at the essential gear for your toolkit. You're going to be writing your code in a special kind of text editor. You can use a simple one, just called a code editor. But a lot of programmers use what's called an IDE. That stands for Integrated Development Environment. The best way to think of it is a code editor on steroids. It's packed with all these extra features, like auto-completion that suggests what you might want to type next. It helps you work way faster and with fewer mistakes. And here's another tool that's a total game changer, a linter. Think of it like a spell checker and a grammar checker for your code, but it works in real time. As you're typing, it'll put a little squiggly line under anything that looks like a mistake or a syntax error, just like a word processor does when you misspell a word. It's an amazing little assistant that helps you squash bugs before they even happen.
So we know what happens on the screen when we run our command, but what's really going on inside the computer when you type python app.py and hit enter? I mean, how does that simple text file actually become an action? Let's take a quick peek under the hood.
It's actually a really cool two-step process. First, your Python code, which we can read, gets translated into this intermediate language called Python bytecode. You can think of that as a sort of universal, simplified version of your instructions. Then, a program on your computer called the Python Virtual Machine, or PVM, takes that bytecode and does the final translation, turning it into machine code that your computer's brain, the processor, can understand and execute.
So you might be thinking, okay, that's neat, but why do I care about all that? Well, here's the magic trick. This two-step dance is the secret to why Python is so flexible. As long as a computer has that Python virtual machine installed, and they make them for Windows, Mac, Linux, you name it, it can understand that same bytecode. This is what people mean when they say Python is platform independent. You write the code once, and it can run just about anywhere. Pretty cool, right?
And just like that, you've done it. You've gone from seeing code as this big mystery to understanding how to write it, what it's made of, and even a little bit about how it works under the hood. You've officially started your journey as a programmer. The possibilities are totally endless now. You could build a website, automate a boring task, analyze some data. So the only real question left is, what will you build next?